Hello. Welcome to the look at static routes. Static routes are the ones obviously that we tell the router how to get to the next network, and we're going to networks, the 2.0, the 4.0, the 3.0, not to IP addresses. In this topology here, there are a number of things, a number of ways that we could do that. The first thing is, let's start on router 1 here. If we look at router 1, it can only go in one direction, the information out of it. And routers know about networks that are directly connected to them. So on this one, we can use what's called a default route. So all the traffic goes out of 000 to the 000 on router 2 from 192.168.1.5 to 192.168.1.6. So we can use the command at the configuration, at config T, IP route 0.0.0.0 with a subnet mask of 0.0.0.0 goes to 192.168.1.6. If we then go to router 2, most of the traffic goes out of the 001 to 001 on router 3. So we can use a default route, IP route 0.0.0.0 with a subnet mask of 0.0.0.0 goes to 192.168.1.10 of this interface down here. But we have two exceptions back here, the 2.0 and the 3.0 networks. So two networks go in the other direction. What we need to do is add separate routes for them. IP route 192.168.2.0, 255.255.255.0 goes to 192.168.1.5, as does the information that goes to the 3 network. So these two networks have exception routes on this router, while most of the traffic we can use the default route to go to router 3. As we go through this thing, we can do, or through this topology, we can do that for a number of the routes. Coming out of router 3 would be the exception route. Most of its traffic is going to go to router 4. We have 1, 2, 3 networks that go from 000 to 000. Most of the traffic, again, we could use a default route here. Coming out of router 4, you just kind of have to make a decision which one has the most traffic. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4 networks, or over here 2 networks. So we could use a default route going in this direction, and then the exception routes going to router 5. Out of router 5, most of the traffic's going to router 4. We can use a default route. We have the exception going to network 192.168.8.0. And then when we get to router 6, again, all the traffic out of it goes in a single direction, and we can use our default route again. Now that we've taken a look at the overview, let's go to router 1 and put in a route. So we need to get to the configuration mode, config T, and then type the command IP route, route, R-O-U-T-E, 0.0.0.0 with a subnet mask of 0.0.0.0. It's going to be, all of that traffic is going to be sent to 192.168.1.6, this interface right here. And show IP route. We have the directly connected routes, or the directly connected networks, and then the static route. Okay, now I have gone to router 2, where we can have a default route. Most of the traffic's in this direction, and then an exception route that goes to the .2 and the .3 network. So again, we'll go to the configuration mode, and let's put in the default route first. And it goes to 8B910.192, 192.168.1.10. Now we need the exception routes to go to the 2 and the 3 network. So it'll be IP route 192.168.3.0, and we have to put in the subnet mask 255.255.0 goes to 192.168.1. This should be the 5 interface, .5. This is an instance where we can use the up arrow key or the control key to get to the previous command in order to save ourselves some typing, because the .3, the only thing that's going to change here is we did to the .3 network, now we're going to do the .2 network, so we can go back here and then change that to .2. Save the configuration, show IP route, and we have our 3 routes configured for this router now. Okay, I've gone through and configured the rest of the routers with static routes. We can look at them as we go to router 3, show IP route, and I used a static to go to the .14 network. A static come from router 3 to L1314. Most of their traffic goes in this direction, and then I have exception routes to the 2, 3, and 4 networks. And I've done that for each of the routers. And to see if it works, we can go in here and ping 192.168.8.2, this workstation over here at the other side of the network, and we are getting a response. You can also use the ping in order to do the troubleshooting, to go from this location to the next one, to the next, to the next, to the next, until you find one that fails if you're having an issue with the static routes. Static routes are a matter of patience, really, and knowing that you have to tell the router how to get to the network, and once you get to the network, you got to tell it how to get back. So it's a two-way street. Unlike us, when we get directions, if we go to somebody's house, get directions to somebody's house, we probably will remember the way out from going in. That's not the case with the routers. We have to tell it how to get in both directions, because none of the information is saved as it goes from one location to the other. I hope this has been useful, and thank you.